Hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2. Thank you very much for joining me in this video. And also, before I continue, thank you for the support that you guys have shown on the previous two videos. I've received a fair amount of views, and I think it has been a rather nice overall. Some nice comments, the likes, they're all there. I'd like you guys to please keep that coming so that I know that you're enjoying the series, and your comments giving me suggestions and ideas and what you're liking, what you are not liking, so on and so forth. I would really appreciate all of that. The subscriptions, if you're new to the channel, if you come along and find this video and hit the subscribe button, all of that is absolutely great. I really appreciate it. So last time out we were building some of these farms, and there isn't a lot in the way of farms. Just to give you an idea, yes, that might look like a lot of farms if you look at the width of the map, but if you take into account the length of the map, it was but a drop in the ocean, as you can see. And ignore the lag, it will clear itself up. So there is a lot that needs to be done now. In the United Kingdom, there are a lot of farms. That is the reason why I have been building the farms, or started building the farms last time out, because in the United Kingdom there are a lot of farms, and you cannot have an accurate UK style series if you do not have farms in a lot of places. But the other thing that is predominant in the United Kingdom, and I'm sure many places in the world have this as well, but it is something that we definitely have lots of in the United Kingdom, are trees, forests, woodlands, heaths, things like that. There are lots and lots of them in the United Kingdom, and depending on where you are in the United Kingdom, you might have an 80-20 split between farmland and woodland, or you might end up with a 50-50 split between farmland and woodland, or a 60-20 split between 60-40 split, or 80-20 between farmland and woodland. That is how diverse it is. But wherever you go, there is woodland somewhere. I mean, I could look out of my window and see little heaths or whatever. I can go to the nearest park and have a little bit of woodland somewhere. I can travel a couple of miles out of a city and see woodland. I can go into the middle of a city, into a park, and still see some woodland. That's just how we have things in the United Kingdom, which is great. So what I need to start doing is I need to start getting some woodland up in here. Now, we have these trees, loads of them, but they are not quite as accurate as I would like them to be. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating specialized bits of woodland, trying to use European, and if I can find them, British style trees. So make sure you stay tuned, and there is going to be a time lapse again, but first I will show you what I'm going to be doing before moving into the time lapse. Right, okay, so just to give you an idea, let's pick, for example, this area here. Now, you can see that there are some nice different coloured trees and all sorts here, but not many of these are native British, or you wouldn't find them in the exact same spot. So here I can see what looks to be, I can see an oak tree, that looks like a birch tree there. We've got, are they Scottish pines? I think they might be Scots pines. I'm not sure what that tree is. And then we've got some berry bushes. I have no idea what kind of berry bushes they are. I'm sure I saw a maple tree somewhere. Is this a maple? This one here. So we've got all sorts of trees. But what I would like to do, and this is going to be a good test, is I would like to not create a new town or industry. No. Let's go here. Assets. First things first, I'd like to remove certain assets, but I want to see if it removes. That's good. It does not remove things that I've painted. That's important. So I'm going to remove all of this just here, which might seem silly, but I'm going to remove all of this. There you go. Now we've just got an empty area. And then I'm going to replace it with, let's think, what kind of trees would we want to replace it with? Now, I've been looking around for various types of trees. So we have oak trees, shingle oak, lighter, darker, standard. Now, this isn't a British oak, unfortunately, but it will do. And what I want to do is I want to bring the strength down, give it something like this, and then randomize rotation. Yep, there we go. Right. And then I just want to start placing these trees in like so in this area. And this is what I'm going to be doing, perhaps faster than this once I get used to what I can and cannot pick. I might actually go for this kind of tool instead. There we go. And it depends on how much I want to add to this. So, for example, I'll do that, then I'll go for some darker oak, just as important. And near the edges, I might have to bring this size down, just so I can ensure that it doesn't go into the soil too much or into everybody's farms, which is normal. We do have that. You will have a farm with a tree in the middle, so that's not something I need to be too worried about. But now you can see here we've got this is a far more realistic setup in Britain. It's an oak forest. Now what we would have is we would have some undergrowth in this oak forest. So for that I'll probably need to be adding in some bushes. So we can use, for example, here's where I could use the maple bushes, you see. Yeah, I could use that, maybe small ones. And is that actually deleting trees? No, it isn't. So we could do that, and tell you what, just let's bring the strength up quite a bit. And maybe just do this. And just add in bushes like this all the way around. Maybe even just do a stronger, far stronger setup here. So add in these bushes like so, and you can see plenty of bushes. And I'm not going to put them all the way in. So I mean, I'm not going to put in a huge amount of detail along on the inside where we're not going to be able to see, but I am going to put it around the outside like that. So you can see that there's all these bushes like this, which looks fairly realistic, coupled with the grass. And then I might add in some medium bushes like so, just in some areas like this. Look at that. That is actually quite nice. Although I'm not 100% keen on the maple itself, but that is quite nice. And perhaps some over here. Unfortunately, they are jumping in and out of view, so I cannot see how they are panning out. And then perhaps we put some linden bushes. I think these are trees that we find in the UK as well. So I can add some of these just in this area like that. And I am going to go back and add some trees. So let's get some European linden trees. There we go. We'll just add some in here and then go back to our oak trees, as this is primarily an oak forest. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to make the I've forgotten what they call it, the undergrowth? No, it's not the undergrowth, is it? Underbush something? It's essentially the area underneath the canopy of our main tree, which is the oak. So that's where the bushes go, that's where your grass goes, things like that. And you can see that this is going to take some time. But the difference with this is that I could easily, this is a lot easier to make than a farm, that's for sure. And then what I'm going to do is I will also add. See, that actually works quite well because you've got oak, 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 and then this little thicket of is that what was they linden trees, and then more oaks everywhere, and that's just how I think something in the UK would very much be. There we go, nice and thick style of tree or forestry. And that's a fairly realistic. That's very nice. So if you look at that from up above, that's pretty nice. And obviously I want to try and keep the frame rate. So using a single type of tree might actually help with textures and things like that. Although we are moving to Vulkan, so that could be something that changes things and makes it a lot easier. Now, the other thing that we tend to have in these is we tend to have little pathways. So for example, and I'm going to just try this, so you can see there to there, I might just put in the tiniest. Is that tiny enough? I'm not sure. Not exactly the tiniest, but yeah, a tiny pathway like that. And that is fairly realistic too. There. And that's something that we have in the United Kingdom as well. We could do whatever we wanted with that. And then obviously what we need to do is we need to go to the paint tools and we need to figure out what we're going to paint. So I want, do we have tall grass? No. Do we have, what kind of grass do we have? Dark green, let's have a look. Ah, doesn't want to go over the forest floor for some reason. That's annoying. That's okay. And you can see there you go, that is a pretty nice completed forest with a pathway, or with some sort of a path that you could actually walk through. Now, unfortunately, as I said, this isn't ideal because I'd much rather that was narrower, but that's close enough. And that is essentially what I'm going to be doing in many places. And the way I'm also going to be doing this is I'm going to be looking at the terrain, and I'm going to be starting by creating tree lines alongside the terrain. And as I said, because of what we have, I will primarily be using the oak trees, and I'll be creating some lines along the terrain, and then from there we can follow things out. Either we stay above it or below it or something like that, and then we can build the farms around it. In addition to that, I will be putting trees around all of the water features and water spots, because that's something that we have in the UK as well. So you can put trees alongside the river, which is what I'm going to be doing. So that is the idea. Now I've just got to see if I can pull it off. Obviously this took longer because I was explaining how things are going to go, but I would say that looks pretty realistic. I'm not massively happy with the linden trees. I'm just going to have a look before I continue. Let's see. Right. UK common trees. Unfortunately, I couldn't find something like the willow or the ash tree. In fact, do we have an ash tree? I'm not sure if I searched for an ash tree. I think I did. cedars. I want cedars. You see, there's no ash tree. So that's a problem. These are just UK. Nothing here. What about English? Nope. European. Yeah, there's the it's a linden tree. I mean, we could use, as I said, we could use a linden tree in some places, but I'm not. I mean, it says Birkin trees, but I think they look very much like silver birches. The tree itself looks very much like a silver birch. And then some bushes, and yeah. So that's what we have. Let's see. Alder trees. Well, we do not have those. English oak. We do not have English oak, but we have a shingle oak. Hawthorns. We do not have those. Holly trees. We do not have those. Let's see. See the older trees I would have put next to the rivers. They would have been nice. Beech trees. Do not have those. Hazel. Do we have hazel trees? Hazel it's called the understory, by the way. Hazel. Let's see. Common hazel. Yes, we do. So you normally find these in the understory of something like oak forests. So I could always just shove these in here. There you go. It's called as I said, it's called an understory. I just looked it up. And that would work superbly. So underneath the oak trees, you have these little hazel trees. So I'm going to be using hazel trees a lot as well. Perfect. Okay, so without further ado, I think I should probably begin with a time lapse. I'm going to see how much of this I can actually get done. Okay, and here we are. Let's take a screenshot of this. This is part of one of the completed forest areas. You can see that there are thick spots. So you've got a dense forest, you've got forest which is not so dense, sparse, and then I've let the trees sort of just taper out a little bit. So you've got some trees out and about, outside of what you would class as forest boundaries. Now, for something like this, in fact, let me just bring this up like so. So you can see around the area what I've done. We'll start right at the top. You can see here that we've got some dense forest and then not so dense forest in a lot of areas, and this is because I was looking at this and thinking, well, this is up a hill, I might want to do something else around this hill area, and that is why I've done it like this. So you can see that from that kind of altitude, that actually looks fairly realistic. That is how I would expect things to be, and you can see that I've put a line here that I'm going to be working with, which I've not figured out yet what to do. The forest goes all the way along the edge, and for the most part I've been using oak, and unlike what I did here where I've created this these roads, I've not done that yet in any of these because I want to be building up the farms first and then figuring out where I want to put pathways within the forests to complete them. So you can see here I sort of got rid of part of this, and I've left part of the soil like that just to show that perhaps it was once something, and that now it is no longer that something. Is it not B to bulldoze? I thought it was B for bulldozer. It is. Now, I've also got rid of the bulldozer noise. It's now a thud, as it says, instead of anything else. So you can see here I've done this, and you can see that we've got some open fields and things that might end up changing a little bit in this area. Most of the trees are oak, and I have got some hazel trees for the understory, as I was speaking about at the start of the video, and I think I've added a few other ones, hazelnut as well. We've got just a few bits and bobs all over the place. I've also added in, and you will notice this here, we've got some Scots pine right here. So this is a Scots pine forest over here. All along the rivers I have got some of this, some of the trees all the way along all the rivers. Sometimes it goes out a little bit, sometimes it's right up to the riverbank. I've just done that. All of that's intentional, so you can see here slightly out, here slightly out, keeping away from this beach, sort of, I suppose it's a beach over here. And this one just a little bit out as well, and then just to here as well. So I've done that on all of these. You can see another large forest, which looks quite nice. Makes it look a bit like moors or marshes in some ways, not just a big clump like this, or like some of these that I've got here. You can see that is very, very densely packed. In fact, it's not as densely packed as I thought. It must just be the colour. This is densely packed. Here you go. So you've got some densely packed forest there. In addition to that, though oak tree is the most popular tree in the United Kingdom, I have added in lime trees, or linden trees. So you can see here, we've got some lime trees all along here. Sometimes the lime trees, that they sort of merge and mesh in with the oak in some places. So we've got lime trees here as well, which blend in with the oak trees over there. And I think I've got some out here. Got some lime trees here, little woodlands. Got some oak woodlands, some lime tree woodlands. We've got obviously the Scots that you saw. We've got some there, some over here, and also these ones. I just noticed these are birch, and this is the third type that I have. So I've got birch, I've got lime, and I've got oak, and I've also decided to place, I think, is this birch? This is lime. here we go. So we have lime tree here, oak trees here. This looks like it's limes. Yep, lime tree, oak trees. What's a U? Lime connected to oak. Oak and lime merged. More lime trees. A massive load of birch trees. So this is all birch. And then this is all birch as well. So that is how I have decided to go ahead and do it. Now, this is not by any means done, and this is not done and dusted, that's for sure. There is more that needs to happen to this, but it is a fairly good start, I would say. So this is where I'm going to end this particular video. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any ideas as to what more I can do with this, please let me know. Obviously, we've got to add in a bunch of farmland, and it doesn't just have to be farmland that looks with all these multicolors, all these different colors. To be honest, I could do farmland just with 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 colors and do a lot of farmland like that, or just these colors here. That is how farmland in the UK can be. So I might do some of that. Whether you want that on camera or off camera, do let me know. But in the next video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking at creating some quarries, and this is going to be starting to place in some of the industry. So I am going to place in the woodland industry, the forests, and I am also then going to start placing in some quarries so that we are ready to go. And in the UK we have plenty of quarries, so I am going to do that. And quarries tend to, I've also noticed in the UK, quarries tend to be close to each other. So if we do, for example, a quarry here, I probably want another quarry here and maybe a quarry over here or something. So that is how I'm going to do it. And I'll place in coal, I'll place in iron, I will place in stone and maybe marble as well. So that is all from me. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more videos, leave comments. If you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon. This took a long time again to do, not quite as long as the farms, and obviously I have managed to do it across the entire map, as you can see, which is great. But the farms are going to take a long time to get in once again. So if you do want to support me on Patreon, I would really appreciate that. Link in the description box below. And also you can find me on social media at ECGadget LP for both Twitter and Instagram. You can see here I've actually started putting the farmland in, and then I'm going to probably end up readjusting. Maybe I'll make a quarry over here, I have no idea. Anyway, that is all from me, and I will see you next time in Transport Fever 2, the UK series, where, as I said, we're going to build some quarries, and not just place down the industry. We are actually going to build a quarry. We're going to make it nice and deep, as an actual quarry should be.